Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Holistic Wellness Podcast. I am your host, Maitri Balamurgan. I am the founder and CEO of Evenfall Cosmetics. Evenfall isn't just another skincare brand, but is a holistic wellness brand carefully curated to provide you wellness in all the four aspects of your life: the physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Now, please let me set the scene for our very special guest today. She is a dentist, orthodontist, smylist, nutritionist, a business, entrepreneurship, and finance coach, and also the founder of Dr. Nobelika's Multispeciality Dental Clinic. Please welcome Dr. Alice Nobelika. Doctor, I'm so happy that you took out the time to make this happen. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Maitri, for having me today. And I'm very, keen to explore the opportunities of answering to whatever queries that you might have so that I can clarify and share my knowledge with the crowd as well.
Truly looking forward to it. So, I would like to flow into our first question, which is what, according to you, is the meaning of the term holistic wellness?
To me, holistic wellness means living in complete harmony, not only with body and mind, but also with the spirit and with the soul. It's not just about, treating the illness or counting on the calories, but about aligning every aspect of your being with balance as well as purpose. Now, true wellness is when you wake up feeling grateful, peaceful, as well as energetic. When your physical, your emotional state, your relationships, your finances, and even your spiritual life all moves in a way that it testifies the abundant provision of God. And I believe God designed our body as the most intelligent system. And when we nourish it with right nutrition, positive thoughts, movement, faith, and gratitude,
Yes.
it naturally moves towards healing and even happiness. So for me, holistic wellness is where God and faith and gratitude, all meet in a harmonious state. So holistic wellness isn't just, treating whatever symptoms or signs we might have. It's also about nurturing the whole person, meaning physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and even spiritually.
Wow, that was such a beautiful and insightful answer. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you highlighted all the aspects: physical, mental, even financial and spiritual. So, financial is not something that's addressed a lot. I'm so glad you highlighted that.
Thank you.
Now, yeah. Now, I'd like to ask you that many people don't realize how deeply oral health connects to our overall well-being. So, what are some surprising ways that our mouth can reflect what's happening the rest of our body?
As I say, the mouth is a mirror of our body. For example, if we have, bleeding while brushing our teeth, that gum bleeding can indicate diabetes or vitamin deficiencies, and ulcers in our mouth can reflect our gut imbalance and, our jaw tension while clenching. It can reflect the emotional stress that we are going through in our everyday life. And your oral health gives early signs of what's happening inside. The inflammation in the mouth can actually mirror the inflammation that's present throughout the body. And even a bad breath can be a sign of poor digestion or hormonal changes. And when you learn to listen to your mouth, you start to understand what's happening in your whole body. Right. And it's like your body whispers before it starts to scream. And obviously, there's a deep oral health connection to your overall well being. For instance, a bad oral health during pregnancy might also predispose to premature deliveries. So that is the connection that most of us might not know. That it starts not at the birth, but it starts in the womb of a pregnant woman. So that starts there and it carries on till the end of the life.
Wow, I'm so glad you made that point because I've virtually heard no one talk about that. So I'm
Yes.
so glad. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So when I meant that there's, a connection between pregnancy and, the health of the fetus also. So whenever there is the colony difference, I mean, there are a lot of a bacterial flora that's already present in a human oral cavity. And during pregnancy, there is hormonal imbalances that's happening, which will also cause inflammation in the gums of the gums around the teeth. And when this inflammation and the bacterial flora changes, you know what, the bacteria, it causes the gums to inflame, and that also leads to the bacteria entering the body and affecting a lot of and creating a lot of systemic disharmony, and that will lead to premature deliveries. And it's we have scientific articles since early days which proves to be so.
Wow. So our gum problems aren't just isolated in our gum, they can lead to something as devastating as premature deliveries.
Yes,
Wow.
it is as simple as, whatever the blood in our body, we know that it gets pumped where? In our
Yeah.
heart. And so the blood supply to our oral cavity and the circulation in the body is throughout the body. Your dental tissues, I mean, like your mouth is not separate from your body, it's a part of your body. And that's why people say, your mouth is the mirror to your body.
Wow. The mouth is a mirror to your body. Thank you so much for highlighting that. Now,
Thank
I'd
you.
like to ask you that do you believe that our emotions or energy imbalances can manifest oral issues like maybe jaw clenching, grinding, or even jaw tension for that matter?
Absolutely. I see this every single day. Our jaw holds unspoken emotions like stress, anger, fear, or control. And when life feels overwhelming, right, many people literally bite down on their feelings. For example, teeth grinding, or we say bruxism, and jaw clenching. It often reveal what the mind refuses to express actually. And healing these patterns isn't just about wearing a night guard, a customized night guard or so. It's about releasing that emotional tension and realigning the energy and just trusting God with what we cannot control. And when your mind relaxes, your jaw muscle follows, and eventually your body muscle follows. And that's where healing starts to happen. And it is not an isolated part.
Wow. So healing quite literally starts from our mouth when we let
Yeah.
go of those emotions.
Yes.
Wow, wow. That's such a beautiful answer. Now, I want to ask you, in your approach as a smilist physician, how do you see a smile as something that heals not just appearance, but self-esteem, emotion, and energy?
A smile is not just an arrangement of teeth, it is your signature that you can put without holding a pen. And when I design a smile, I just don't look at your lips or your teeth alone. I look at the person's energy, their emotions, and their purpose. What they want to achieve. A true smile actually connects to the heart, and it can shift how a person literally feels about themselves, how they communicate, and even how others respond to them as well. For example, I always take this example to share with the person. Assume there are two, individuals going applying a job as a receptionist. And assume one is having a perfectly well-aligned teeth, a beautiful smile. There's no problem in their teeth arrangement and all that. And the second person assume that he or she might have, a crowded teeth, not so well-aligned teeth. And whom do you think has the higher potential of, getting selected as a receptionist? Go ahead and answer that question of mine, Maitri.
I would say it maybe would be the person with the who is more confident in themselves. It doesn't matter if the teeth is aligned or not. I would say it depends on their confidence, but what would be the right answer there?
Absolutely, your answer is correct. So there are scientific researchers that tells comparatively a person who is having a well-aligned teeth or no gaps in their teeth, they feel more confident to express themselves. So So we could go to the back of the research and find that a person who has a well aligned teeth has more opportunity of grabbing a job or being so confident and expressing themselves very loudly. So from that point of view, I would say tell a person with a well aligned teeth has more, maybe a privilege of packing a job. And as a smilist, I believe a healed smile can restore the confidence. It not only restores the confidence, but it also aligns the energy and elevates the self worth, and even more boosts the existing confidence level of that person. And when your smile heals, your life begins to glow as well. That's what I believe in.
Wow, thank you so much for reframing our smile as a source of confidence and not just well-aligned teeth. It's so much more than that. Thank you
Yeah.
for highlighting that. Now, I want to ask you, as a very busy doctor yourself, how do you incorporate holistic living in your daily life?
I'm glad that you asked this question to me. And for me, a holistic living is the way of being. It's not a routine that, I check off every day. To start with, I start my day with God, with prayer and with gratitude. Aligning with God first is my motto. And because, when your soul is centered, then clarity follows. And when there's clarity, there's always purpose. And that being said, the second most important thing I always tell everyone is to nourish your body, not just to eat, not eat whatever that's present on the table. Choose wisely, nourish your body. I nourish my body with clean, natural foods, foods that are as natural as possible. And I avoid, GMO foods, and I prefer to eat non genetically modified foods, non GMO foods, and foods that are as close to its natural form, whole foods. And I don't believe in carbs are your enemy. I believe in eating mindful amount of carbs and staying hydrated and avoiding soda as much as possible, because um, the canned foods or processed foods, juices contains lots of sugar in different names, labeled in different names. And that being said, I also move with intention. Exercise is a key to good joint health as well. As I say, sitting is the new smoking. And the next most important thing that I believe in is protect the sleep. If you protect your sleep, it not only gives us a refreshed mind, but it also manages emotions. So I protect my sleep, it manages my emotions, and I also take time to, reflect and be in silence. And most importantly, I give a lot, because for me, giving keeps me grounded and fulfilled and enjoy a satisfied life. For me, giving is my art. So that is what I believe in.
Wow. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for highlighting that holistic wellness is not just about ticking a few things off of our checklist. It's a way of being. And I loved how beautiful and cohesive your whole routine is, starting your day with God and then nourishing your body right with whole foods. I loved how you said nourishment and not diet. Loved how you highlighted that carbs aren't our enemy. We do need carbs. Loved the non-GMO foods, moving with intention and silence, giving, all and protecting your sleep. All of that is so, so beautiful. Thank you for highlighting that. Also, I really liked how you made this point that you follow all of this, although you are so busy. Most of us have this, if I may say so, excuse for not being able to live healthy lives because we are busy. We choose to eat quick, quick heated foods or like the ultra processed foods that we can just heat because we don't have time. But honestly, I feel like those are just excuses. Even as a busy doctor, you're able to incorporate all of this in your life. So why not? Why not, right? It all starts with a mindset shift. Thank you
Yes.
for highlighting that.
Welcome.
So now I want to ask you, what are a few holistic lifestyle practices that can support both our oral health and our overall well-being? Any pointers or things that anyone who's listening to this can start following today?
First and most importantly, as I say, stay hydrated. Hydrate deeply as much as possible because water not only cleanses your mouth and keeps away the bad bacteria that causes, the caries, but it also keeps your mind, with a clarity. And the next most important point that I tell is chew mindfully. Don't just eat. Chew mindfully. Your digestion does not start in your gut or in your stomach. It starts in your mouth. It starts when you grind your food but with your teeth. Eat slowly because one most important thing about eating slowly is it helps not only the food to mix with the saliva and the digestive enzymes. For example, if you have acidity, it might also go to an extent of preventing acidity after having food, and it also promotes balance. So chew mindfully. The point that I cannot, stop telling anyone and everyone is avoid processed foods and sugars of any form. If you want to have sugar, have a cup of sugarcane juice or chew some sugarcane bit. Do not have processed foods. Not just teeth. But also your energy and your hormones will be affected by having a lot of processed foods and sugars. And the next most important thing I would say is breathe through your nose, not through your mouth, because mouth breathing, it alters the pH of your oral cavity and causes not only caries or the tooth decay, it also causes, gum inflammation, and and it also causes facial structural changes. You might always note that kids who have learned to breathe through their nose because of adenoids or some nose obstructions, they tend to have a long face. They have long noses, long face. So always breathe through your nose and not through your mouth. This can also increase the oxygenation of the cells of your whole body. So always learn to breathe through your nose. And that being said, sleep well. And because, rest and joy are the most underrated healers. So sleep well and smile often. And take small, consistent changes because small changes will add up to the biggest impact ever. So these are the few points that I want to tell to whoever is listening to this podcast.
Wow, I think that would be very, very insightful for me and everybody who's listening to it. Thank you. Those are some very, very good lifestyle changes. And I also love how you said breathe through your nose and not through your mouth. That's not a wellness tip you get often. Often it goes unnoticed, very underrated. Thank you for highlighting that here. Now, I want to ask you that how can we become more aware of the subtle signals that our smile gives about our inner well-being?
See, your smile is your emotional thermometer. If your smile feels forced or rare, it's your body saying pause and reconnect. For example, jaw tension, clenching, dry mouth, or even how you cover your smile, right, while you laugh.
Yeah.
All these things reveal what's happening inside of you, of not only your physical form, but also your mental state. So when we start observing without judgment, and when we start observing just for self-awareness or to help somebody, we begin to heal. And your smile, it really reflects your inner joy. And when the soul starts smiling, then your face obviously follows that.
Wow, thank you so much. That is such a beautiful way of looking at a smile as something just more than the aesthetics of it, but as your internal thermometer, is what you said, if I'm not wrong.
It's
That's
an emotional thermometer.
emotional thermometer. Beautiful, beautifully put. Thank you for making that point. Now, I
Welcome.
want to ask you, do you think dental treatments should have a more subjective and holistic approach, especially something as personal as a smile correction?
Definitely, because dentistry, it should and it must go beyond mechanics and medicine. It should honor an individual. So, for me, a smile is very, very emotional, sometimes spiritual, and even highly energetic. It carries your identity. right? And that's what I believe I practice. I just don't only chase perfection, because and I chase authentic balance. That is what I always say. Because a perfect smile might be static, but an authentic smile is really magnetic. I look at the face as a whole, as a not only face but also a body as a whole. I look at the face shape, the personality of the person. How do they carry themselves? How do they emotionally express themselves? And what are the life goals they have before even designing a smile? Because a holistic approach, it not only respects the symmetry, but also a person as a whole. So, changing a smile could eventually change the face of a person and how they face their own life. So, I believe that, designing a smile is like designing or redesigning the confidence of a person. So, it definitely needs to be subjective as well as holistic.
Wow, thank you for making that point because I love how you said that you focus on preserving the authenticity of the person rather than chasing some non-existent perfection, which is just static. So
Yes.
your focus is flowing with the person and addressing them as a whole and designing a smile that, honors them as a
Yeah.
whole. That is very beautiful and very rare for dentists, I must say. So thank you for that. Now,
Welcome.
I would like to ask you that in a world that is obsessed with perfection, perfect smiles, perfect bodies, perfect lives, how do you guide people toward a more authentic sense of beauty that is rooted in balance and inner glow rather than just appearance alone?
I always tell my patients your smile doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be you, yourself. Perfection is almost sterile, but as I told you, authenticity is magnetic. When people start loving their uniqueness, they start radiating a glow, a no filter that can represent that type of glow. And true beauty is about aligning not only with your body and your mind, but also with your spirit, and your soul starts to vibrate together in truth. And I believe God created each face with such divine geometry and with so much beautiful genetics. And we just need to bring back that natural harmony. We just do not have to copy a celebrity or somebody whom you think to have a perfect smile. You are perfect in your own way, and your smile definitely needs to be yours and not others.
Wow, that felt like a long therapy session. Thank you for that. Thank you for
Well,
highlighting that we don't have to look like celebrities. We just need to look like the happiest and the most confident versions of ourselves.
yeah.
So now I'd like to ask you that if holistic wellness becomes the norm in medicine and dentistry, then what kind of world would you imagine that we live in physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually?
We would live in a world where prevention is priority, and health is a harmony, and health is wealth. And if I have to divide and say, physically people would really age so beautifully and gracefully. Mentally, they would peace would replace pressure. Socially, definitely that competition in the world would be replaced with compassion. And spiritually, we would live in surrender to God and not struggle and, thinking what is tomorrow going to bring to us. And I believe science should unite with, spiritually, maybe spiritually, or whatever one believes in, with a higher self or higher being. But I believe it's God. So when science, acknowledges or appreciates or understands that it's God, then medicine becomes an art and healing becomes really effortless, because half of it will be taken care of by God, and we just have to, help in the process of healing.
Wow, that is so beautifully put because I feel like the Western medicine that we have today kind of looks at Eastern medicine as something that isn't real, and holistic practices often go very unnoticed. But like you said, if we do believe in God, a higher purpose, whatever that can be for us, healing comes naturally. So that's very beautifully put. Now, I'd like to wind up with our last question, which is what, according to you, is a life well lived?
So according to me, a life well lived is one that's rooted in faith, service, and gratitude, and where you wake up every single day excited to give more than you take. And it's not measured by how much we earn, but it's measured by how much we give. And it's when your success, uplifts others, and your peace comes from purpose and not possessions. And I believe we are all the instruments in God's plan, and our role is to use our gifts fully to heal, help, and uplift others through what we do. And a life well lived is when your heart stays kind, your mind stays curious to know more, and your spirit stays humble. And it's when you live with purpose, create joy around you, and go to bed knowing you have added value to someone's life. Because I believe that giving is my art, and through giving I find my peace and purpose.
Wow, through giving. I love how you highlighted giving a lot through this podcast. And I love how you said where the heart stays kind, the mind stays curious, and the spirit stays humble. This, addresses all three parts of our whole being, our mind, body, and soul. So I love that. Very beautiful and insightful podcast. I'm sure everyone who's listening would have had a terrific time. It's beautiful. Now, thank you. We've come to the end of this podcast. Thank you for making this happen today. I know how busy you've been, but you've taken out the time to give, to, genuinely give without expecting anything in return. That really speaks volumes about you as a person. So, thank you for making this happen today.
Welcome, and thank you for having me today as well.
It's my absolute honor. So that's a wrap, guys. We have come to the end of this episode. And until the next episode, bye bye.
Thank you.